Yep, I just woke up and I'm inspired to do a video that is probably gonna be insanely big. It depends on how it's gonna be reacted to. Um, I am going to collect all the criticism against Stefan Molyneux because I like this guy, but that's why I'm gonna attack him. I'll see how it goes, whether I'm strong enough to actually attack a guy I like. There is tons and tons of criticism in the internet. All seem to be disliked quite a lot. But I'm gonna take the best of it and I'll analyze it, I'll collect. Since the video has to be 20 minutes long, I'm gonna be talking about one question. About the question of the government. And how could it be better? There are systems like resource-based economy, and the Stefan Molyneux would say that anarchism is, free market is the solution. Well, since I am I'm collector of ideas, I would just combine those two together and also add a government idea. What is that? It's an idea of democracy that everyone votes for something. It's not going. My idea is not about a person, but about every single idea that you can vote for. Like, imagine instead of Facebook and looking at those meaningless things and scrolling down, you would get to choose, vote for actual ideas. You would read, okay, we're gonna build this building, we're gonna build this school. Even something about a person. You would look about his videos, you would be able to donate to his ideas and everything. I mean, Kickstarter is already there, but that's why Kickstarter is so big, because it supports individual ideas. But we also need a system that would support ideas. We are going this way. We are going that we are able to donate. But that's where we should go, right? We should expand the Kickstarter. And the free market would expand the same way, because we would voluntarily donate to what we want instead of being taxed and having someone else to decide whether it's this idea is going to be expanded or this or this. That's why I dislike the government, just because I'm not sure whether it's people driven anymore, driven by people, because people dislike government. And now what if people would have all the power to vote and everything? Because there would be, money spent and donated, just like government create jobs. We as people would create jobs directly. We don't need the third party to be involved into paying and creating jobs. We would be able to do it directly by the power of the internet. And that is the third point. The power of the internet, the power of one single computer algorithm or whatnot. That is the idea of the resource-based economy, which would be, a computer surrounding surrounded by a community, let's say, and this computer controls who gets the resources, how many resources, and everything. It's not like you ask a resource and you get the resource. It's not that easy. There will be a lack of resources in one way or the other, just like there's not infinite amount of iPhones coming out when it's, a new version or whatnot. Of course, people would either be forced to not get an iPhone, or, everyone would get an iPhone, the same version. There wouldn't be a choice which version can you get at all. But it still leaves so little place for creativity to actually choose which version of phone you would want to get. I don't know. It's not a bad thing, because for a game developer, a technology which does not vary. You would know that everyone has this kind of phone, or of course there could be different resolutions of the same phone, which doesn't really make sense. But in a sense of processing power, as the resolution scales, so is the power to sustain the same resolution with the same power, if that makes sense. As resolution scales, so is the power with the same scale. Yeah, that's an idea. Don't think it's perfect in any way. But I think that would be interesting. You would just work on one resolution. You wouldn't think, well, for this kind of phone it's kind of different because, yes, it is bigger and even much faster for some reason, or slower. Anyways, what else can I say? There's also the fourth point. The fourth point that was, already in the government, and it's religion. It driven the forces in the Middle Ages, I guess. Religion was really brainwashing thing to follow, and was suggested as a reason to fight in the first place. But why? Right? Why beliefs have a power, as well as the government would have a power of fear for prisons, as well as religion would have a fear of hell. Well, more and more, I look at a religion as a cult, but I don't think so. There are plenty of people that are good. In a religion, it's not black and white. I'd rather put it as a fourth point and actually create a religion. Yes, a religion. A system of beliefs, which would be interesting to develop and everything. It would be symbolic. I would, add so much meaning into symbols and everything. You would be able to create your part of the system, or create an adjustment, ideas. It's like creating your own world and whatnot. That would be great. I'm looking forward to create a game that would represent Minecraft and would be better in every way. This game would be able to test whether my ideas are good or not, because in games it's so freaking easy to test. Like, if you haven't, of course, looked into Game Theory, which is an amazing show. It shows just how much games matter. And you will look into how much World of Warcraft matters to the economy. That means it all matters. All the things are connected. And the best thing that I could have as a part of my knowledge is a knowledge about programming. It's amazing. It's really amazing to have knowledge of a programmer, to be able to logically think, and whenever you write a code you would know what will happen. Well, it's more and more the case. It's easier and easier for me to understand what's the problem and everything. It's still not perfect. Right now I'm working on a mobile games, and it's very different when you port it into a mobile device. So I'll have to deal with this and learn, because I will want to, maybe put a game out. Whether it's gonna be successful or not, it's not for me to decide. I certainly have a good idea. Before I work on my main game, I actually gain a lot of ideas of how I will change the way I work. There is new UI system of Unity, and Unity is crazy awesome. Someone buy a Unity for me. Kickstarter, anyone? So yeah, I'm preparing for a big topic, for a person that I really care about. I want to see how far can I go. The rule is, I will create a video of his criticism, and I will want to be on his show, right? He says, well, if you have my criticism, then you can come into my show first. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna collect all the criticism I'll find of him. I'll logically think, of course, and filter out whether I think it's true or false. But, of course, criticism doesn't have to be true or false. Criticism has to be a genuine concern, or I think concern is enough, or not. I'm concerned about your behavior. I'll criticize you so you would understand more or less what you should change. I think that's how it works. So, it's gonna be a long day for me. And tomorrow, or in the end of the day, I will be making a video. It's so cool, you just wake up and take your laptop and make this kind of video, share some ideas. I just created, this 4, could I say, dimensional. There is religion, there is government idea of voting, there is a belief idea, there is an idea of freedom, a free market, and there is an idea of resource what? I know based economy, but the way that you spread resources. So resource sharing. So all of these points are important and does not contradict each other. They all must work together. It's like saying, well, fire and water kind of contradicts each other when they come together, but yes, that's the point. You don't put fire and water together. They contradict each other. Water would put out the fire, or if you hold water above the fire, the water boils and becomes steam, and basically water disappears that way. So, instead of contradicting, you would look whether you can support both ideas. That's what is important. The most important point I will make by watching all the criticisms and everything, I really look at the value of the criticism. If you oppose to something, you have to have an idea. And if you just support an existing idea, it's not a very strong opposition. Because the existing ideas, we already see how they work. We don't see, if you oppose to free market, you can't really oppose to free market because it's not existent. Just like you can't really oppose to the God because it's not existent. What if it would exist? The religion existed, and we saw the impact of religion, so we can argue with this. And this is a strong argument, and people saying, well, God does not exist. Wait. Okay, maybe I lost an argument there. But God does not exist, and we cannot argue with it. We cannot argue about the God. We can argue about what is the impact of it. And I don't call God a God. I actually call God a destiny. Like, as I mentioned before, whether you found it or not, I think that the God created us as a programmer creates a game and left us with the special algorithm that balance things out, which connects things and balance it. That's why so many things are connected, That's why planets and stars and universe, exists in a way that it does. That it's so balanced out. Could I say there could be a better way to do it? I can't argue with that. But physicists will say, it's so perfect. The forces are so perfect for universe to exist. I kind of just feel that, well, yeah. I kind of prepare an algorithm that balances itself out, and then the universe creates forces that balance itself out. Like at the Big Bang, there might have been that the speed of light has been much faster, because it would contradict, the way that the speed that it's spread in the Big Bang theory, that it would contradict the speed of light, but may have been the speed of light have been faster at that point, and then it balanced things out in the end. Well, it's all just the theories, but I think it's important. And for the last point, it's important to find values. As I said, you don't just oppose an opinion, you put your own opinion, your own ideas. Because, you can say, well, this guy is wrong in such ways, but his ideas were not realized yet. So you can say, well, I'm wrong, but just the way that I'm seeing ideas, that's the way that you can argue and criticize. I will understand, and whether it's a value criticism, I will accept it into my, share of ideas that would make up a system. And whether the system is going to be real or not at some point, it will depend on my ability to create a game, to be, to have this game appealed to the audience, and they would actually want, just like in Star Wars, there would be some things that you would want to replicate in the real world, just like the sword. It inspires, people. So the same way I would create a game that would inspire, just like Minecraft. It's an enormous inspiration. It has created so much more than just the game. There has been so many more creations, and I just I want to replicate this. I want to be a part of this world-changing event by collecting all the knowledge. And knowledge is based of new ideas. That's why lots of criticism fail to be valuable, because they just try to oppose and say, well, you're wrong in certain ways, because those ways don't really exist sometimes. Or it just confuses, the viewer in some ways, and says, well, you're wrong, and blah blah blah, confusion. Well, I'll collect all the criticism, I'll attack Stefan Molyneux myself, and one point, if I won't be able to do it, if I will be rejected, my criticism will be rejected, I will make a video about it. I don't know. It's not gonna be big at that point, but what I want, I want to have a discussion with Stefan Molyneux. See what happens. See whether I'm... It's not about me being smart enough. It's more likely for me to enhance, my ideas with his ideas, because he will speak to me directly. So yeah, I have to prepare for this. It's a big thing, and thank you for listening to my ideas, my core ideas of how I collect ideas and I make it my own idea. I mean, creativity is all about collecting a lot of things and putting it in one place. It's not just creating a unicorn. Pegasus is more likely, It has wings again now. What else? A burning Pegasus? Phoenix? Anyone? Anyways, I'm gonna go and end this video. Thank you for watching, really.